carrots.
Oh, you mean Iron Fist and Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're best buddies, but it's just kind of... Isn't that... I feel like it just takes away from the book itself to take something that can be very serious and give it some whacked out, cartoony vibe. It's like, why would you...
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all, man.
That's just a huge boner killer for me.
And the thing about... Let's think about Luke Cage, man. You know, because the Netflix show was so good. So good.
Yeah.
And then they come out with this comic that is very...
And it harkens back to his old look, doesn't it?
It does. And this feels very cartoony and not meant for the same audience that watch the Netflix shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that bothered me. But going on about Darth Maul, I'm trying to find it right now.
Yeah, Darth Maul, it's only, like some of the other titles in this Star Wars one, it's only going to be about 4 to 6 issues. It's not very long, but I like Darth Maul. He is one of my favorite Sith Lords.
There you go, Cullen Bunn.
Oh, I do like Cullen Bunn.
Yeah, he used to write Moon Knight.
And Sinestro.
Mm-hmm.
So, weird space guys is kind of his thing.
Yeah, I am okay with that. I may actually have to check that out.
And I read... What else did I read of the Star Wars one?
They're doing... The cover's going to be by Raphael Albuquerque.
Okay.
Which I'm good with.
Yeah.
Variant cover by David Aja.
I'm very happy with those choices.
Luke Ross is doing the...
I read the first book of Darth Vader. That was the one And that's also written by Kieran Gillen.
Yeah, it is. I actually have that over there.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it only lasted for 25 issues, but still. I mean, it's better to end it soon.
Well, didn't it end with him, like, Darth Vader lost? Or what was the one where he was...
No, there was Vader Down.
Vader Down, that's what it was.
Yeah, there was, like, Vader Down and then Vader, and I think it also crossed over into the actual Star Wars book.
Yeah. But the whole thing was really good. Yeah, when Jason Aaron in charge...
Well, no, it can't cross over into the Star Wars book, because the Star Wars book takes place after the 6th movie.
But the Vader stuff ended with Vader Down, right? And then that goes into Star Wars A New Hope. Or what would have been the end of Rogue One.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't read that far. I've just read the one book.
I'm just trying to...
But no, you're right. There was Vader Down, and it ended sometime shortly after Vader Down.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, it was 25 issues, so not really, not long, but not short either. It was just like a pretty good runtime. And actually, out of that spawned Dr. Aphra, also being written by Kieran
just
Gillen.
came out last week. Was it last week? Week before last? Number 1.
I think so. Oh, aren't they on number 2 right now?
I don't know. I just saw it last week. I know I saw it last week, and I was like,
yeah. I mean, it's
who the hell is that?
Yeah, it recently came out, and it's like she was not necessarily a sidekick, but she was helping Darth Vader with some like codes or something. I don't know. I just know that Vader was pissed. It kind of went into the relationship between him and Palpatine, and how Palpatine was like trying to pervert the ways of the Force for like an army with like mechanical or mechanizations or just weird mutations. And of course Vader was like, this is heresy. And they're like, and Palpatine's like, they will probably do better than you, Vader. He's like, I doubt it.
And you wonder why I threw you down an endless tube, Dick.
Right. He's such an asshole. He deserved it.
So what do you have March? What else do you have? You have Batwoman, but that's
Batwoman. Well, it starts in
February.
And then continues on after that.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh my god.
Detective Comics has been
been so great. Like, this is a really interesting team because it's not just your typical... I mean, it is Batman, but it's very different, I feel, from the stuff we've been getting from Batman.
And I think to go into Batwoman, we have to look at where she's been with this current rebirth run of Detective, because it feels like, with the exception of the monster stuff that they did, it really feels like this is her team.
It really does. And now they're making it official.
Yeah. And because the first story arc was her dealing with her dad.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Which, of course, ended in the disappearance / presumed death of Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
And now that went so well that James Tynion IV is getting to write Batwoman.
Oh, I thought he was drawing her. Or who's the artist?
Ben Oliver and Steve Epting.
Oh, okay, but still Tynion writing.
Well, it's Marguerite Bennett and James Tynion. Yeah, Tynion's getting to write her further. Okay. But this story, apparently, it almost looks like...
Is it like... It's kind of like a flashback, isn't it?
It looks like it's almost like a prequel to the detective stuff.
Okay.
Almost
like a Batwoman Year One?
Sort of.
Would you call it that?
Yeah, from what I...
Well, I'm really interested because in Batwoman Elegy, which is like a collection of stuff that happened in previous detective comics that was like before the New 52, she actually went up against a woman named Alice, who was kind of playing up the bizarre, like Alice in Wonderland feel.
Was she working with Mad Hatter?
No, she wasn't. And actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because Batwoman was like, "Sorry, lady, we already have an Alice in Wonderland themed villain."
Yeah, that's really fun.
But it turns out that Alice was her sister.
Oh, okay. So
who was supposedly dead. Like, that was one of the things that launched
That's why you said that. That's why, because we were talking about this before on, I wonder if it's going to go into her sister.
Yeah, because that what starts her journey into kind of being Batwoman is Kate Kane, her sister, and her mom get kidnapped by some, I guess, terrorist cell, and they're being held captive, and she watches her mom and her sister get offed. But by the time they kill her sister and they're about to turn on her, that's when her dad and like SEAL Team 6 or whatever like swoops in and stops them, and I mean that starts her on her journey to being Batwoman. And then in Batwoman Elegy, she has to fight this new villain that she finds out is her sister. And it's so fucked up. And Batwoman is very unique in her own way because she doesn't fight regular villains. She is she fights like supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
Because in the New 52, they start off with like this drowned woman character, which is like a spirit.
But she had her own title in New 52, right?
Yeah, she had her own title in New 52. Yeah. Well, I mean, it ran for at least 7 volumes, I want to say. Kind of, it's the typical run nowadays.
Yeah, and she's not one of the big 7 or big 8 characters.
No, she's not. But I'm glad that I think they're kind of
titles that are going to pull.
Yeah, they're in their own way addressing the issue with Batman. How people say all the time, Batman has so many books.
He does have a lot of books.
He does have a lot of books, but now Detective Comics is becoming Batwoman's book. It's not Batman's.
Right. I mean, which is great because he's got Batman. He's got All-Star Batman with Scott Snyder. He's got Justice League, and now he's going to be in jail. Justice League America.
Yeah, Justice League of America, which is the team that is going to be looking into the button. Yes. They're going to be looking into the mystery of who is exactly
and they're going to be doing the crossover that we talked about with Flash and stuff.
That should be starting in February as well. Or no.
Starts next month.
April.
No, it starts next month.
Oh, it does start in
JLA
February?
Stuff starts in February, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the February is the rebirth of Batwoman, and then March is going to be the official #1 that's going to start her storyline. So the rebirth title will go back and kind of, I guess, address a lot of where she's been.
It follows
and everything.
the same pattern that they have when Rebirth started, because they'll have the Rebirth one shot, and then they'll have the #1.
Right, and the thing about this also is that if people aren't aware, DC for not several, but I would say like 5 or 6 of their monthly releases, their single shipment issues, they're actually upping the price.
Because it's going to have a digital code.
It's going to have a digital code in it. So they've taken what Marvel has kind of screwed up in a lot of people's eyes and a lot of comic fans' eyes. Mm-hmm. What Marvel used to do is they would give you the book, and then they would give you a digital code inside the book. Yeah. To where you could take the book, and you could do whatever you wanted to with it. You get the digital code, you download it on your phone or your iPad or whatever it is.
And you have the digital copy.
Right, or you could go in with your buddy and spend $2 a piece, and one of you get the hard copy, the other one get the digital code.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But DC's kind of taken up that mantle, and I know Batwoman's going to be one of the titles that does that.
Yeah,
Red Hood and the Outlaws is going to be another one.
They're starting it in February, I believe.
Yeah. So even though here it still says $2.99, I think that's changing for sure.
Probably up to $3.99 now.
Yeah, it'll be $3.99. $3.99 for 32 pages.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. So the number one, it starts The Many Arms of Death, Part 1. And
what the hell? Is that JLA?
No, it's Batwoman.
Oh, okay.
Kate Kane found a kind of refuge on an island nation of Koryana. And it's a criminal underworld.
That sounds like a new R&B artist.
Koryana.
New number one single from Koryana.
Get it?
Sorry, that's terrible.
So it looks like she's going to have to fight off this island, which I'm okay with. So we get to look immediately into her skill sets if you're not reading detective, and she's going to have to fight her way out of a criminal.
Is she wearing the suit? Doesn't say.
Island.
Because I want to see like Batwoman full on in the suit, beating the shit out of all these dudes.
I don't know. There's no art for it yet, from what I can tell.
Damn.
I mean, the little thumbnail they have here is an old image.
Yeah, that is old.
Yep. So it's just, but I'm just excited because visually, my God,
that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. The black with the red, and
I'm telling, like, if Batwoman is something you haven't really introduced yourself with, I deeply recommend reading Batwoman Elegy. The art that J.H. Williams III did was so unique. I've never seen art like that ever.
What is that movie where it's the dude with the tie and it's the red tie and the entire movie is shot like...
The Spirit?
Yes. That's what that reminds me of.
It is, but it's like only when she's in the bat suit.
Yeah.
When she's in the bat suit, it's this really like kick-ass...
You have the bright red hair, you have the bright red lips, you have the bright red bat symbol on her chest.
Yeah, that's contrasting with all these dark colors, and it's so
the
cool.
red boots, the red belt, and then it's that jet black. And
and then, but when she's out of her costume, it's like regular comic panels.
Yeah.
But when she's back in the suit, it's like the panels would like zigzag and do all sorts of crazy shit. It was so fun.
They do what Jeff Lemire did with Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it, he wrote it, but...
Right, but I mean...
The art in Moon Knight, every time his personality would change, it would be a different art style. And so they kind of do that with Batwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever she's in her...
They did that with Batwoman, then Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Because this run of Moon Knight came out.
No, but that's what I'm referring to.
You're comparing it to
that. Yeah, I'm comparing it to that.
I get it.
Something
I just wanted to make it clear that...
Batwoman came first, okay? I get it, man.
Because the lady should always come first.
No comment. But the writers on this again, obviously James Tynion IV, which is a personal favorite of ours, and then Marguerite Bennett, who wrote DC Bombshells, which was one of those titles that released first digitally, like 20 issues in advance, and then they came out on shelf. Which is so weird. Yeah, it was weird.
That is
because I started getting it at first, and then I went away for the summer. Not like jail away, but to Colorado for the summer. And I was doing digital for a little bit. And I realized that I was like 14 issues behind on Bombshells. And I'm like, what? So I wasn't about to drop like $40 in single issues on Bombshells.
Oh yeah, to get in trade. But did you enjoy it?
Bombshells?
Yeah.
It was fun. I liked it, but it's World War II stuff. As a history major, it's kind of a no-brainer, to kind of dig that old art style. It's like on the side of the B-52 bombers, the pinup girls.
Yeah, I saw
all of my favorite female, heroes and anti-heroes.
Done in like and villains.
Yeah, and done in that pinup style.
Yeah.
And guy, I mean like Hal Jordan and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a Hal Jordan one, or they did Bombshell variants.
Yes.
I think I got the Dick Grayson one.
Well, I got the Sinister Six one that had Harley Quinn on the front with a mallet doing the strongman competition with the mallet.
Yeah, okay.
Which was awesome. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got the one that was like a poster of the Flying Graysons.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, that was during the Grayson run when he was a spy for...
Yeah, when he was still
with,
oh, God.
God, that book contains my favorite line ever.
With him in the Midnighter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's because the spiral technology, you can't see their faces through